The first time Alexander Carrington laid eyes on his daughter, Emily, he was overwhelmed with joy and pride. He had always dreamed of having a family, and when Emily was born, he promised himself that he would protect her and give her everything the world could offer. But life has a way of twisting even the best laid plans. One morning, when Emily was just 6 years old, Alexander noticed something unusual. She would often trip over toys, bump into walls, and squint at even the simplest objects. Concerned, he took her to the best doctors, desperate for answers. After countless tests, the verdict was delivered: Emily was blind. Alexander's heart shattered, but he refused to let despair consume him. He vowed to provide Emily with a life filled with love, learning, and opportunity, despite the darkness he thought she would face. Years went by, and Alexander, a self-made millionaire, ensured that Emily had every luxury she could imagine. She attended the finest schools for visually impaired children, had specialized tutors, and spent her days in a world tailored to her supposed blindness. Yet, something always seemed off. Emily never complained, never asked for assistance when others would, and often seemed unusually aware of her surroundings. Alexander brushed it off as a child's resilience, telling himself that she had adapted remarkably well. But deep down, he wondered if there was more to her abilities than anyone realized. It was during this time that a new maid, Clara, was hired at the Carrington estate. Clara was young, kind, and observant, a combination that would soon change the Carrington family forever. On her very first day, she noticed subtle hints that Emily might not be as blind as everyone believed. The way she reached for objects with pinpoint accuracy, the way she seemed to avoid obstacles instinctively, and the occasional sparkle of recognition when someone entered a room. All these signs planted a seed of doubt in Clara's mind. She tried to dismiss it at first, worried about the consequences of being wrong. But as days passed, the evidence became impossible to ignore. One afternoon, while helping Emily organize her room, Clara accidentally left a small music box on a low shelf. Emily, without hesitation, opened it and wound it up, smiling at the delicate tune that played. Clara's heart raced. She asked a gentle question, almost whispering, "Emily, can you see?" The girl froze for a moment, her small hands trembling slightly. Then, in a soft but clear voice, she replied, "Yes. I can." Clara felt her stomach drop. How could this child have kept such a secret for so long? And why? Determined to uncover the truth without shattering Emily's world, Clara spent the next few days carefully observing her. Emily would read small print from her father's letters, watch birds outside the window, and even notice a speck of dust on polished furniture that none of the staff had seen. Clara realized that Emily had been pretending to be blind all these years. But why? When she finally asked Emily directly, the little girl confessed with tears in her eyes. "I didn't want to disappoint my daddy. I wanted him to think I was brave, that I could handle anything, even if I couldn't see." Clara's heart ached. The child had carried a burden no one should ever bear, believing she needed to protect the emotions of the one person she loved most. Clara knew she had to tell Alexander. The thought terrified her: what if he reacted with anger or guilt? But keeping the truth hidden felt like a betrayal of Emily's courage. She approached Alexander one quiet evening, Emily quietly playing in the next room. Clara's hands trembled as she revealed everything. Emily could see, had been pretending for years, and had never asked for sympathy. Alexander's world seemed to tilt on its axis. Shock, disbelief, and an overwhelming wave of guilt consumed him. How could he have misunderstood his own daughter? How could he have allowed her to suffer in silence, thinking she had limitations she never truly had? The next day, Alexander sat down with Emily. His voice was heavy with emotion, but tender. "Emily, is this true? You can see?" Emily nodded, tears streaming down her face. "I didn't want to hurt you, Daddy. I wanted you to believe I was brave." Alexander pulled her into his arms, holding her tighter than he ever had before. In that embrace, years of misunderstanding, pride, fear, and love collided. He realized that Emily's courage wasn't in pretending to be blind, but in enduring a lie to protect the person who loved her most. From that moment on, Alexander's relationship with Emily transformed. He encouraged her to explore the world fully, to embrace her abilities, and to trust that she didn't need to carry burdens alone. The family began spending more time together, sharing honest conversations and learning to understand each other in ways they never had before. Emily's secret, once a source of fear, became a powerful lesson in resilience, trust, and unconditional love. But their journey wasn't without challenges. Emily struggled with guilt for hiding the truth, Alexander wrestled with feelings of inadequacy as a father, and Clara feared that her revelation had disrupted a delicate balance. Yet, with each passing day, they learned to support one another, to communicate openly, and to celebrate the strength that comes from honesty. Together, they discovered that love isn't about shielding someone from the world, it's about facing the world together, hand in hand, heart to heart. Years later, Emily grew into a remarkable young woman, confident, compassionate, and unapologetically herself. She excelled in school, explored her passions freely, and inspired everyone around her with her courage and determination. Alexander, once consumed by guilt and misunderstanding, now beamed with pride not just at her abilities, but at her heart. And Clara, who had been the quiet observer and guardian of the truth, remained a cherished part of their family, a reminder that sometimes the smallest voices carry the biggest truths. In the end, the Carrington family emerged stronger, wiser, and closer than ever. They learned that appearances can be deceiving, that assumptions can cloud even the clearest truths, and that the greatest strength often comes from vulnerability and honesty. Alexander often reflected on the lesson Emily had unknowingly taught him: love should never be conditional on perceived limitations, and the bonds of family grow deeper when nurtured with trust, understanding, and compassion. If this story touched your heart, please comment below and share your thoughts. What would you do if you discovered someone you loved had been hiding the truth for years? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Be kind always, for more inspiring stories that remind us of the power of love, courage, and honesty. Your support helps spread these messages of hope and kindness to the world.